Hey, Michael, or Michelle. How do I pronounce your name? Sorry. It's nice to meet you. But yeah, please. Well, let's start off with your name story. How do I pronounce your name, Michael or Michelle?
It's Michel. It's a French name.
Okay, nice to meet you, Michelle. Thank you for taking the time today to talk about anatomy of an entrepreneur. I've known you for about 10 years now, and from the day I've known you, you've always been an entrepreneurial person in my life. So I thought I'll interview you for today's questionnaire. Um,
Thank you for picking me.
my pleasure, my pleasure. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Michelle. And I apologize, I'll be typing as you say. So tell me.
Not a problem, not a problem. So yeah, my name is Michel. I moved to Canada about 8 years ago, and I started computer science at York. I graduated in 2017, and that's when I started my company, IT Engine, which is an IT and cybersecurity service provider for small and medium-sized businesses. Um, yeah, like I said, I've been in Canada for about 8 years now, and it's been quite a journey to go through school and to go through entrepreneurship and start a company. It's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, of course. Could you tell me a little bit more about your entrepreneurship journey? Did you start off as a kid? What made you get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I definitely started as a kid. I've always wanted to start my own company. It's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid. Um, Maybe when I was a kid, I didn't understand exactly why. But as I grew older and I started to understand how limitless the possibilities would be when you own your own company and when you're an entrepreneur, I kind of became more and more attracted to the idea. And that's what makes me fall in love with entrepreneurship every single day.
That's nice to hear. Just give me a quick second. I'm typing. I apologize.
Take your time.
Awesome. What would you say was the earliest business or the first business you ever started?
Yeah, that's not an easy one. um, I've started so many, if you want to call them businesses, when I was a little kid, and as I grew older, um, one of the very first one that comes to my mind is I think I was around maybe 11 when I started that. I started doing a magazine, like a little magazine for kids. Just wrote some stories, did some crossword stuff, and it's printed on my home printer, kind of one staple. And I went into local bookstores and tried to sell it there. Um, that ran for, I think, maybe 4 or 5 um, weeks. I think I did a week. Actually, no, I'm lying. I did a monthly. And and it ran for 4 or 5 months. Needless to say, I didn't sell much, but the the experience of as a little kid going to local bookstores and trying to convince them to take my magazine and put it there and offer it to other kids was really fascinating. And I think that was my really first sales experience as a little kid. Um, like I said, it wasn't a hit, but I learned a lot, and this is one of the very first adventures that comes to my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. As a businessman today, sales must be a big part of your life.
It is, and I've always hated the word sales and in the traditional way that it sounds. Like it's not really about sales. It's about solving a problem, providing a service, helping someone else, or whether that's a service or a product. Um, Sales, I think it's just a term that people use, and the minute someone says sales, people like start thinking about, I don't know, car salesmen. For some reason, they have really bad reputation. I haven't had any bad experiences with them, thankfully. but but yeah, to me, it's more about offering value and helping someone else. And I think that's what a sales process comes down to at the end of the day. It's not necessarily about the transaction. It's more about what you can offer and to help whoever is receiving the service or the product that you're offering.
That's actually quite wise words. I've noted them down, and I'll be sharing this document with you at the end of our meeting.
Thanks.
And it's a lot of wisdom to pass on, because I agree with you as someone who's been trying to start a business or as an aspiring entrepreneur. Sales might seem daunting, but at the end of the day, it's more important to understand your customer than try to sell them your product.
Yeah, yeah,
Speaking about businesses, I see that you currently work with IT Engine, even from your background. I see your company's name there, and I've
yeah,
seen you at our TEDx, local TEDx Ottawa talk.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about IT Engine. What is IT Engine? When was it started?
So IT Engine started in January of 2017. I started the company with the goal of being a one-stop IT and cybersecurity service provider for other businesses. The challenge that many of these companies, especially of this size, face is they don't necessarily have the funding or the money to go and hire good expertise and good IT and cybersecurity people. Even they don't have the qualification to go through the screening process of hiring that type of employees to provide these services. So, and from different points, however you look at it, it makes sense in most of the cases to outsource those services to a company like IT Engine. There was a lot of companies that would do IT, a lot of companies that would do cybersecurity, a lot of companies that would do web development, a lot of companies that would do network setup and network architecture. What I wanted to do is to combine them all under one company, call it IT Engine, and save any business the hassle of having to deal with different companies, because that's when you start to, if anything goes wrong, all right, you start playing the blame game. You start going into, okay, well, they did that, we did this, different quotes. So it's as simple as one phone call to resolve whatever IT or cybersecurity need that you have for your business. That was the main goal of starting the company.
Could I say, in short, the motto of IT Engine is to be the one-stop shop for IT and cybersecurity needs?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay. Uh, Again, I'm writing down. I apologize.
Take your time.
Nice, that's good to hear. So on a typical day, let's say you're about to get a new client, or you have a couple of clients in the lead in your lead section. What would be an ideal client? What would they do? What would they need?
You know, this has been a daunting question since I started the company. How do you define your ideal client? How do you define the type of companies that you want to work for? Aside of being a one, so like I said, when I first started the company, it was I wanted to be a one-stop IT service provider, and that is still the case. As I moved forward and I started to offer more and more services to other people, and we started to grow, the main thing that I realized is um, we understand how important IT and cybersecurity is, but to our customers, what they really care about is that in a way we're making their day better, we're making their day easier. We resolve a problem that is very challenging to them. We mitigate a risk that they maybe didn't even know about. So. And the feedback that we get is like, oh, you made our day better. You helped us go through a difficult day. You helped us take IT off of our plate. So because of that feedback, I wanted to help more and more people, and identifying the ideal client could either limit this amount of businesses or people that we can deliver our service to, and eventually help them, which is what we really like to do. So what I tried to do is to have an ideal client who's narrow enough, but also wide. Um, and that was very tricky. So it came down to me to our ideal client is anyone who relies on technology to do their work. Um, if they need technology, then they need us. This helps us. We're going to deal with people, and we can offer our services and to people who do rely on technology, which is really wide, but at the same time, is there enough for us to know how to focus our whether it's our marketing or our effort or our services, and all of our processes are tailored for this kind of client.
Okay. So in short, would you say the ideal client doesn't exist, but the best way to find them is to find the gap between the need of the client and the services you offer?
In a way, yes. In a way, yes. I think when it comes to IT, it's just like saying, um, who needs healthcare? Really, everybody needs healthcare. But at the same time, I can't go out and say everybody's my client, because um, I've read in so many books, and it just this really stuck in my head. If you talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody. So whenever you want to relay a specific message, if you want to relay your value or the service that you want to offer, or you want to show what kind of help you can offer to a business, you need to be able to tailor that to their specific situation. That's why I wanted to say, like I said, I wanted to be as wide as possible, not just to be able to grow our company really wide, but at the same time to be able to help people as much as we can. And at the same time, be focused enough. People who rely on technology will appreciate our services, will need them, and we have a lot of value to offer.
Nice. Again, like I've said before, very wise words.
Thank you.
Now, again, with wisdom comes a lot of challenges that you might have faced, or with challenges comes wisdom. That's what I've read before.
Yeah.
And what was your toughest customer you've ever faced in either in business or even at work or outside of business? What was the toughest customer?
Uh, Toughest customer. Um, it's not necessarily a specific one customer, but I think overall, a customer who's really difficult to deal with, at least from our perspective, is a customer who doesn't appreciate or see the value of having or following our processes. Um, Going through the processes that we spend so much time to build and we constantly improve, um, helps us and helps the client at the same time to see a wider picture, to see towards the future, and kind of build a plan that falls into their budget properly, that helps them achieve their goals, and that helps prepare for their future growth at the same time. Prepare them from risks that they didn't know about, especially when it comes to cybersecurity or business continuity, like you saw, for example. Many businesses did not anticipate the need for a work from home kind of setup, but then when that happened, it kind of happened overnight. It didn't really give a lot of alerts, a lot of red lights. It was just like, okay, boom, we're working from home. So stuff like that. If the client does not believe in following those processes and does not see the value of them, it becomes really, really difficult to work with them. This has been one of the main challenges for us. And this is not to say that it's on the client, because a lot of the times it's our job to show the value of our process. If we can't relay that message to them, then this is our fault. It's not necessarily on the client to understand what they're not really an expert in. It's our job to show that to them.
True. The good old saying that the customer is always right is, I believe, a double-edged sword. It's
Yeah.
you can say they're wrong, but at the same time, it's tough to admit they're right. Sorry, that they're always right, because being the subject matter expert could put you in a position where it's tough to tell, no, you're wrong, you should follow what we say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it comes down to helping your client see what they cannot see. They're always right in the sense that you have to help them. Even if they're wrong, your job is to help them be right. It's not necessarily that whatever they say is absolutely correct. That's where you come in. That's why they need you. But the whole focus of putting the client first and being able to focus on their need is I think what this is all about.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your beliefs as an entrepreneur. I'd say you've had quite an entrepreneur journey, starting from starting a magazine at the age of 11 to now,
Yeah.
servicing the IT industry with cybersecurity, which is the hot topic in today's market because
Yeah.
everything's remote. Uh, do you have any industry leaders you follow? If you were to follow anyone, what is one quote from another entrepreneur that keeps you motivated every day?
Uh, An industry leader, I think it was 2015. This person is always on my mind. I think it was in 2015. I was still at York and I was still a student. And going through the struggle of how am I going to get a job after, how I want to start to gain experience. I knew I wanted to start my own company, but at the same time, I needed a job to start to learn like real life experience and be able to support myself at the same time. So I was going into how can I apply to jobs? How can I work in companies that I really want to work with? And I started to research all these companies. And there was a company back then, it was called Scalar Decisions. Now it's been bought by CDW. Uh, I went on LinkedIn and I found their one of their founders and the CEO of the company. His name is Paul Kerr. I on his LinkedIn account, he had his phone number. So I just I picked up the phone and I called him. I'm like, what are the chances this guy's going to answer me? And it went to voicemail. I said, hey, my name is Michel. I'm a computer science student at York, and I've been following Scalar. I've been reading about it, and I would really like to talk to you. I'm looking to get some work, even volunteer, anything. I just want to grow my experience, and I would love to chat. Please give me my call. Here's my number. And I hang up the phone. I'm like, I'm never going to hear from this guy. I'm going to have to call him 100 times to pick up. He probably didn't even know his number is there. And I was so tired that day. I think I was working, then I went to school. So I took a nap, looked like 30, 45 minutes nap. I woke up and there was a missed call on my phone and a voicemail. So I go to my voicemail and it was Paul. He's like, hey, Michel, I got your voicemail. I'd love to chat. You got my numbers. Give me a call back. And at that time, I think it was past like 5:30 or 6. So I'm like, first of all, I'm like, boy, what a bad time to take a nap. I've been really wanting to talk to this guy, and now he calls me and I'm taking a nap. And then I looked at the time and I said, he's probably done work. He's sitting with his family, whatever. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'll give him a call. I'll leave him a voicemail and we'll take it from there. So I call him and he actually picked up. It's like, hey, Paul, this is Michel. I really appreciate you returning my call. And I started chatting with him. And this guy actually took the time. I think we were on the phone for like 15 minutes. And he put me in touch with someone else at his company, and they went through my resume and stuff. I wasn't a good fit at the time, but it really stuck in my head how this person was able to, had the time to even talk to me. The company was really big. They sold for, I think they sold for about $750 million. And the company was about 15 or 16 years old. So they did an amazing job. And this guy at the peak of his company had time to call me pretty much on the same day. So basically that's the guy that I actually look up to. I always think about him. I always think about the way he dealt with me when I called, which is something that I really appreciate and something that I hope to be later on in the future when I have the expertise to be able to help other people.
So you said the name of the company was Skilled Wire?
It's not Scalar Decisions.
Scalar Decision.
Yeah. They don't exist anymore. They merged with CDW. They were bought.
And he was the CEO there?
He was the CEO. He's one of the founders, and he was the
Wow.
CEO. Yeah.
So would you say that being a leader of a big company, it's still important to have that human aspect and touch with other entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs?
At least it's what I really, really want to be. I think, first of all, I absolutely think it's absolutely important. I think it's a really good decision. It's the right way to go. As you grow, you should help others. People open doors. It's just how it goes. And you have, as an entrepreneur, when you're first starting, you have to hustle and you have to keep on hustling until you get to the point someone's got to open a door for you, whether that's an introduction to someone else, whether that's trust when you had no record yet, whether it's letting you into a company. Someone had to open a door, big or small. And I think it's what you should do to others when you have the ability to do that. And losing touch with other entrepreneurs as they grow, when like me or someone else, when you grow to a company, your company, and you really get up there, you shouldn't forget where you started, and you should as someone who really built a company from scratch, you should appreciate the hustle a lot more than anybody else. Um, and to that matter, you should help others for absolutely for sure.
It's the small celebrations and the small victories that add up to a huge uh, victory again, I guess. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
okay. Now, this is more of a, this is my personal experience as an entrepreneur, and I want to know if you had the same experience. So, life as an entrepreneur is a crazy roller coaster ride. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's the most fun roller coaster you'll ever ride. It's very exciting. There's those roller coasters that you get on that you're, first of all, you're scared to death, and then it starts to move, and then you're screaming your head off, and then you're excited, and then you're scared, and then you think you're gonna die, and then it gets to the point where you just want to get off. You just can't take it anymore. You really want to get off, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, no, I want to keep on going. It's just one of these rides, and you know what? It's absolutely amazing. It really is. I love it.
Nice. What is, if possible, could you share a crazy story from your experiences so far?
And what's it like as an entrepreneur?
Yep.
I don't know if I have a crazy story per se. It's just looking back at how everything started and how things are going. Um, it's been it's been quite a ride. There are days where you doubt yourself. There are days where you doubt you're gonna get to where you want to get. Um, these are the days that it's most important for you to keep on hustling. Uh, because if that period of time becomes longer and longer, and you start to kind of procrastinate and not take action, you kind of fall into it, and it gets to the point where you just let it go. But it just, the push through these days, it's absolutely normal. It really is. You go through doubt, and then you go through some rough times, and then you think, oh, it's never going to happen. But then you have to wake up and give it all you got. It may not be 100%, but you got to give it all you got. But then you know what? The next day, it's funny because I remember when I was first starting, I was trying really, really hard to get more clients, and I need to work hard, and I'm calling people, and I'm trying to make connections, and I was working on a couple of leads, and one day, actually, I almost turned down a lead because it wasn't actually, it wasn't right for them to move from their current provider. They had a contract that wasn't easy to break, and I mean, they weren't very happy. Obviously, they were looking elsewhere, but I told them it's probably better to wait until the contract ends. And I'm like, man, I was honest. I said what was right, and I stand by that. I would make the same decision every single day. It was what was right for them. But boy, did it hurt. And I was working on another client. It was just a lot of back and forth, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And as I hang up the phone with the first one, saying, okay, you know what? I think let's just wait until your contract ends, and we'll go from there. I think half an hour later, I got an email from the other lead I was working on, and they said, welcome on board. And I was crazy. I was so happy. And I was going out, I was calling everybody, I was calling my family. I was like, oh, I got a new client, and I was so excited. I was really happy. 8 minutes later, I got an email from the client that I told it's not a good idea for you to go with me, saying, welcome on board. And I could not believe it. I just couldn't believe it, because I think it took me like a year to get there. I was just trying so hard to grow. I had a few clients, and I wasn't growing, and I really need to do it. And I was hustling and trying and trying and trying. And then 8 minutes, that's all it took. So I think that was one of the craziest experiences that I had. And that's, again, don't give up, because you never know when it's going to happen. You could work for a year or 2 or 3, and then it's just that one day where everything is going to fall into place. If you decide to quit the day before, you've missed out, and you've wasted 3 years.
That's actually an inspirational story. being honest and losing a client only to find them back in your life 8 minutes after must be one of the craziest experience ever.
It really was. It really was. And it I mean, obviously it wasn't easy. When you're first starting, you need any client you can get. Um, but it just wasn't right for me to say to do what's not right for the client, obviously. And like I said, I'll make the same decision every day. It's what we go by. We're here to help the client, and if we're not able to, we're not gonna tell them or give them an advice that it's not in their best interest. Um, but yeah, that was, and I remember after, like at the end of the day, I was just sitting down and I'm like, all that hustle and obviously all the ups and downs throughout that year, all it took is 8 minutes. How long is it going to take for the next big thing to happen for me? And and yeah, I tell you, it happens when you least expect it. Just don't stop hustling.
Yeah, I put that down. Never give up. Don't stop
Yeah.
working towards the dream. Um, where would you say you get your motivation from to continue hustling every single day?
Uh, Quite a few places. First of all, I really believe in my goal. I really believe in what I want to do. I really believe in IT engine, and I really want to grow it. So my belief in the company, in the vision, and what we want to do, and how we want to help others is a really good drive. My family is a really huge source of motivation for me. You need the right people around you. Sometimes that's family, sometimes that's friends, sometimes that's both. Um, my family is a huge motivation for me. They always support me when I need motivation. Also, my friends, yourself, and others who are going through the same process of becoming an entrepreneur, building your own business. It's extremely important to surround yourself with people who are going through the same process that you are, because they understand your struggles, they understand your challenges. Basically, they're going through them on their own, and they, of everybody else, know first how to motivate you and when they need to motivate you, because they've been through it, man. They can hear it in your voice. Um, it's like I said, family, friends, surround yourself with people who are going through the same thing, and you really gotta believe in what you're doing.
Nice. Yeah, I like how your first answer was true source of motivation comes from within yourself. If that is lost, you look at the people around you, right?
Yeah,
And uh, just a fun fact, that's what my painting was supposed to depict when I made it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's most of the answers are found within you, but if not, there's always this first circle that can give you answers,
around you.
right? Yeah,
You're absolutely
exactly.
right. You're absolutely right, because if you didn't believe in what you're trying to achieve, it doesn't matter how much people support you and push you towards doing it. It's gonna feel like it's just like another thing you got to do. It's not, it doesn't feel like a passion. So um, I don't know. It's just like your parents telling you got to eat vegetables as a kid. If you don't really believe in it, you're gonna be, oh, whatever, I'll do it, I'll push myself. But it's not really a motivation, you know. It feels more like someone is pushing you, and you actually start to hate what you're doing. Uh, but if you really, like you said, it's got to be starting from the inside. Um, it's normal for you to lose motivation, to feel down at sometimes. That's when others would come in to help. But if it's not in you, then others can't help you.
Very well said. Again, this has been a very educational meeting so far for me.
Thank you.
Um, is there anything that you would want to say to new entrepreneurs?
Um, like you said, roller coaster, man. Be ready. I think it's very important. First, you have to believe in what you want to do. You have to really want to do it, and you really have to believe in it. And you have to be ready to sacrifice. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It's not something that comes easy. It's not something that comes um, without effort, without any sacrifices. It's not that easy. And surround yourself with the right people. I think these are the top three things that any entrepreneur needs to work on as they start their journey. You got to believe in what you're doing. You got to be ready to sacrifice a lot, and you got to surround yourself with the right people.
Just noting things down.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for taking this time. Um, I don't know if I already explained it to you, but what's going to happen next is a few of my classmates and I are going to exchange our interviews with different entrepreneurs. And there'll be a little voting session as to which entrepreneur had the most impact or which interview was most impactful for my classmates. And then
Okay.
at the end of the class, obviously, I'll be presenting this to my professor. And as of now, I'll be recording and uploading this meeting on YouTube, which will be only visible to my professor and you.
Okay.
So uh, so again, thank you again for taking all the time today, and it was great meeting you after a long time. And thanks again.
You too, man. Thanks for picking me. This was pretty awesome.
As
It
I've
was
said
great chatting with
before,
you.
you're my first and only choice. I'm just glad you had the time today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, man.
Again, thanks, Michelle. You've been very inspirational to me and supportive to me in all my entrepreneurial decisions and needs. And thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure, man. And as you know, you've been a great support for myself as well. So I'm more than happy to do it. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Take care.